What's up everyone, James here, and today we are going to be looking at Seachem Flourish Excel. What I want to talk about is the product itself, what it does and how to get rid of it. So currently I am having a bit of an algae issue in my planted aquarium. I recently re-scaped it and it's caused a lot of nutrients to go up into the water column, I think, and due to the excess light as well and everything else, it's just started a bit of a hair algae outbreak, and I've got a bit of blackbeard algae. So one of the good things that you can do to help combat that, as well as your frequent water changes to get rid of those nutrients out of the water column, and obviously vacuuming your substrate. One of the good tips is that you can use Seachem's Flourish Excel, which this is promoted as a liquid carbon sort of alternative to CO2, but in reality most people use this as an algicide because it kills algae really well. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Is we're going to be treating a few little areas in my aquarium, and I want to show you how effective this stuff really is. It's a great product in my opinion. So yeah, I want to show it to you, so let's get to it. This is the aquarium as it stands. As you can see, looks pretty good on camera. I'm getting some great coloration in my lotus leaves there. The Java moss has started to pick up. Got some flower in there, and a lot of my other plants that I moved over have started to sort of pick back up again. But as you can see towards the bottom of the aquarium, I'm getting a lot of green algae. And just let me move that forward there. So you can see here, loads of it here in little patches, and really bad at the back there with the Java moss. It's just sort of overtaking the tank on this wood here. I quite like it on there actually. It looks quite cool. It looks like a little bit of a mossy kind of effect. But and over here as well, like we've got some really bad hair algae and also blackbeard algae all over the leaves. So it's a bit of a pain, but yeah, we're going to treat it now and hopefully come back to it in a little while, as in a couple of weeks, and see how we go. I think essentially the best method to actually make this the most effective is to use some sort of syringe when you are dosing this stuff. You can just drop it into the aquarium. I do it sometimes just to, you know, when I do my water changes, a couple of days later I just bung some of this in. But if you really want to target certain algae, you really need to do it with a syringe and dose this stuff quite heavily to it. So that's what we're going to be doing. So top tip, if you want a free syringe, this is for all you all you parents will know this, but this is a syringe that comes from an old cow pole tub, but they're really handy. I've used it quite a few times in my aquarium for various different things. It's got little measurements on it as well for certain mils, but yeah, it's just a really cool handy product. So we're going to be using that. So I'm going to try this in a few various different places just so we can see what kind of results that we're going to get. So I'm going to try it at the bottom of the aquarium, sort of towards the front, also that bad patch at the back, and maybe a few other little bits and pieces, and we'll see how we go in a few days' time. What we're going to do is we're going to check back daily and see what kind of results we're getting. So this is the first day, so we'll check back in tomorrow and see what the tank is looking like. Just one top tip to remember with this stuff is that it's highly concentrated, and overdosing this stuff can cause your plants to melt. So what I mean by that is that the plant leaves will start to rot or break away or start to die off. So overdosing it can cause problems. Some plants are all right with it, some are quite sensitive to it. In my experience, one plant that's particularly sensitive to it is jungle vallisneria. So the leaves on those certainly do, if you overdose this stuff, they do start to melt off, but it doesn't harm the plant in terms of it completely dying out. Just some of the leaves will break away, but yeah, just be mindful. Just a couple of final thoughts on this product really. Ideally, when treating algae, you should really be finding the source of the problem first, as opposed to using chemicals to kill algae. Ideally, you should be looking at how much nutrients is in your water, your substrate, your lighting, how long that's on for, because a few of these factors really are the reasons for the algae in the first place. Obviously, if you have a heavily planted tank, eventually the plants will outcompete the algae, so you will get rid of it naturally. It's just when there's a common term in aquascaping called finding the balance, and that just means like getting the right light, the right nutrients, and sometimes the right CO2, and all of that, along with the plants, should effectively get rid of the algae eventually. In certain cases, you know, such as myself, the reason why I tried it on certain parts of my aquarium was that I had lots of plants in the aquarium, and I decided to do a re-scape recently. I'll leave the link to the video in the description and up the top. And what I'd done is I'd pulled up all of that nutrients out of the substrate, and it went all into the water column, and that's what caused a massive algae bloom into my aquarium. And because I got rid of quite a lot of the plants, some of the plants I moved, they've all had to reset and try and settle in their new areas, which means that the uptake of nutrients that they're trying to consume isn't quick enough, and the algae is out competing that. So for me, as a sort of a quicker fix whilst I try and get the CO2 back in and let the plants have a fighting chance, is I used a bit of Seachem Excel just to get rid of some of the more extreme spots in my aquarium, and hopefully not kill off the plants in the process, because that's the trouble with algae. If it gets all over the leaves and that, it can eventually sort of kill the plant because it doesn't have a chance to grab the nutrients that it needs because the algae is covering the leaves. So that's all I wanted to say really on the matter. In terms of the actual product itself, I really can't recommend it enough. Seachem products in general, to be honest, I love. They're such great products. They're very highly concentrated, so you don't have to use massive amounts of it to get the results that you want. Just a little of that stuff, spot dosing it onto the algae that you have in the aquarium. It should be gone within a couple of days, as you've seen with the video here. So yeah, not really much more that I can say, but this is a great help to algae removal in extreme circumstances. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and also if you could hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out. I'm nearly at the 200 mark, so we're getting there. and I am going to be doing a subscriber giveaway as well, so definitely check out that and stay along for this journey. And until next time, you stay safe.